Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to day 3 of, it's going to be Halloween 4 days, not Halloween week. Yeah, because it just spirals off into November and it's going to spiral off into November anyway, but I'm just going to do it up until the Friday because that just makes sense to me. Welcome back to Halloween 4 days. Happy Halloween. As you can see, for actual Halloween, I have made an effort today. I did go in my loft to retrieve my children's Chucky costume. This is dungarees, but I can't get it past my hips. So we've just got the top half on, which keeps falling off. And this is why the sleeves are as short as they are, because it is from the kids section. I couldn't find one that was movie accurate in adult sizes that wasn't like shorts up your arse or like just a boob tube. I wanted one that was an actual full-blown costume. As you can see, I'm back in a wig, so I'm very, very itchy, but I have decided to ditch the wig cap for today because I cannot go through that pain again. And I don't think you can see my hair through it. You probably can at the back. I probably wouldn't go out without a wig cap, but this is what we're dealing with. So I hope you're enjoying Halloween week so far. I think today will be the longest case I've covered out of the whole week. Tomorrow's one is very, very short. It is actually a case that I wrote last year and it's structured awfully. So we'll see how that goes. This is definitely a case that you will have heard of. I generally do try and go for the ones that are a bit more unheard of, a bit less covered, but everyone's heard of this case and it is the Slender Man case. This is driving me nuts already. So before we get started, trigger warnings for this case. I actually don't think I have any, but I do have a content warning, as always, strong language. So today's story takes place in Waukesha, Wisconsin. I don't think that's how you say it. And we're starting with Peyton, who is a happy, sweet little girl, and we're starting when they're in 4th grade. And I have absolutely no idea what school that year that is in the UK, but they're in 4th grade. So we're going to say it's year 4. And this is where she meets Morgan, who is described as a happy and artistic girl with a wild imagination. The two girls become the best of friends and they share common interests in fantasy and fiction. When the girls were in 6th grade, a new friendship got brought into the mix. Morgan brought in a young lady called Anissa, and they became friends because they both lived in the same apartment complex and shared the bus to school. Peyton wasn't the biggest fan of Anissa, but hung out with her because she was Morgan's friend too. But if Morgan wasn't there, I don't think they would have been friends. Peyton starts to feel that Morgan is being closer with Anissa. A group of 3 is always really quite awkward. Around this time, Anissa starts sharing some creepy stories that she's found online with Morgan, and they're both fascinated by this tall, faceless man who kidnaps children. And the two of them eventually do become obsessed with this story. And we now know that this is Slender Man. I remember playing the Slender Man game when it became a thing, and I remember everyone talking about it, and it was like super, super viral at the time. So the Slender Man story was originally posted on an online forum called Something Awful. So it said he's usually found in abandoned locations or the woods, and he's somewhere between 6 foot and 15 foot, which is quite a big gap in there. It said that he has the ability to change his height depending on surroundings and situations. He's described as having long tentacle arms and has no face, no ears, no hair. He's just very creepy looking. Also very dapper because he's wearing a business suit. He was supposed to be very intelligent and could match his surroundings. He's very dangerous and he would stalk and kidnap people and would take out victims' organs in the woods. Just what kids should be reading about. Slender Man was originally created by Eric Newston, and like I said, it was posted on the Something Awful forum, and I think it was for a Photoshop competition. I don't think he won, but people just became obsessed with the picture that he had created and then started making fan art, creepypasta stories, games, all sorts. It just blew up. Now, Peyton wasn't interested in the creepy stories, and she definitely wasn't interested in the Slender Man at all. It really quite freaked her out, and she ended up going to talk to her mum about it to get her to reassure her that it wasn't real and it was just something stupid that someone made up online. Peyton goes back to the girls, Morgan and Anissa, and says, well, my mum says it's not real, so can we just drop it? I don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't like it. So I believe the girls stop kind of talking about it with Peyton, but the friendship between the two of them just grows closer because they love talking about it together. The two girls absolutely believe the story is true of Slender Man, and there's nothing you can do to convince them that he is not real and that the stories are fake. May 30th, 2014, the three girls celebrated Morgan's 12th birthday. They went to the roller rink, they went out for frozen yogurt and had a sleepover. Like kids do at sleepovers, some of the girls wanted to stay up just as late as they possibly could, but Morgan said she was going to bed. She didn't want to stay up until stupid o'clock in the morning. So May 31st, the next morning, Peyton wakes up and she realises that Morgan and Anissa are not in her room with her. So she goes downstairs to find them and finds them on the computer. Morgan obviously went over and tried to say morning and chat to the girls, and they both just completely ignored Peyton, which is just rude. The girls all had breakfast together, and then Morgan asked the girls if they want to go to the park over the road, which they all agreed to. Normally, Morgan's mum would have sent an adult to go with the girls, but as it was her birthday, she made an exception and gave them very strict and special instructions. So the girls are walking to the park, and Anissa suggests that the girls play hide and seek, which again, they all agree to. Morgan is counting first, and Anissa says to Peyton, why don't you lay on the floor and I'll camouflage you with leaves? And Peyton says, sure. Morgan then essentially ambushes Peyton and comes in out of nowhere and is standing over her with a knife. And she then just starts frenzy attacking Peyton, and she ends up stabbing her 19 times. She's crazy. That's a lot. Like, you say numbers like that and they don't sound that big, but if you actually did that motion 19 times, it's a lot. It's a lot. So we're not really sure what Anissa was doing at this time. We don't know if she was just standing there watching or if she was actually holding Peyton down. Either way, neither is good. Morgan and Anissa then just walk off and they leave Peyton to die in the woods because they believe that they have done enough to have killed her. Thankfully and incredibly, Peyton actually isn't dead. Again, amazingly, I don't know how she did this, but she manages to get up, stumble out of the woods and I think she gets to just before the road, and someone on a bike sees her and calls 911.
Just south of Rivera.
Okay.
Came upon a 12-year-old female. She appears to be stabbed.
She appears to be what?
Stabbed.
Stabbed?
Correct.
Okay.
Sir, are you still there?
Yes.
Hi, sir. So are you with this 12-year-old female?
Yes, she says she's having trouble breathing. She said she was stabbed multiple times.
Stabbed multiple times?
Yes.
Okay, sir. Are you with her right now?
Yes.
Is she awake?
She's awake.
Is she breathing?
Yeah, she's breathing. She said she can take shallow breaths. She's alert.
Okay, stay with her. We're sending the police department. Don't hang up, okay?
Oh,
hold on just a minute. Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on just a minute, sir. We're sending officers.
Okay.
Is there any assailant around?
I didn't even look. I don't see anybody.
It's a dead end. Okay, stay right with her, sir. Is she on the ground or is she standing up?
No, she's laying on the grass.
Laying on the grass. Stay right with her. Just let me know if she is remaining conscious or not, okay?
Okay.
Is there any bleeding going on?
Her clothing has got blood on it.
Where are the wounds? Do you see where the wounds are?
No, I don't know if I should be rolling her over and checking or not. Do you know where?
Okay, just stay with her and just let me know if she's conscious or alert or stops breathing or anything. Hold on, I'm going to talk to the ambulance. Police are also en route.
Okay, thank you. I'm bothering you at all? My shade? Okay. You're very
Copy.
Okay. Just keep her in that position. Just let me know on her breathing.
Okay.
What's your name, sir?
My name?
Your name.
My name.
Okay, were you just passing through?
Yes.
Okay, and you found her and she was just laying there?
Yes.
Okay.
Payton said that along this walk she was fading in and out, and as soon as she got in an ambulance she was rushed straight to the hospital, straight into surgery. I think everyone at the hospital was amazed that she had somehow managed to get herself up and actually walk out of the forest to go and get herself out, because the extent of her injuries were just ridiculous. She had 2 major stab wounds to her liver, her stomach and her heart. If it had been 1 millimetre over, she would have died. So that's just incredibly lucky. After surgery, she was obviously in quite a bad way and she needed a lot of time to recover, but detectives needed to know who had done this to her and exactly what had happened, so she was given a whiteboard to communicate with detectives. Sorry, I'm so itchy. Police had actually already arrested Morgan and Anissa because they just walked away from the crime scene and they were covered in blood. So obviously someone's going to call that in, and if a police officer sees you, you're getting arrested, you're covered in blood. I don't think they really thought their plan through at all. When police kind of pulled them over and spoke to them, Anissa was very quiet and she was quite visibly shaken. The girls were asked to empty their pockets, and that's when the bloody knife was discovered. Anissa was talking to the police and she wasn't really making a whole lot of sense. She was saying that he could read minds and he could teleport to places, and the detectives were going, who the fuck is he? What are you on about? Girls, when they were pulled over by police, not pulled over, but pulled over by police, they were actually on the way, they said they were on the way to the National Forest, like a national park. They told police that they needed to kill Payton because the Slender Man had told them to, and that they were on their way to his mansion in the National Park forest, and that if they didn't kill Payton, he would come and he would kill their whole families. They also admitted that they had been planning on killing Payton for months, and they nearly did it the night before at the sleepover. Morgan was charged with 1st-degree homicide and Anissa was charged with 2nd-degree homicide, and they were both tried as adults and they were 12 years old. Whilst Morgan was incarcerated, she was not quite acting right, and there was concerns about her mental well-being. She said that she was seeing unicorns, she was taking ants as pets, she was speaking to Slender Man. She was eventually transferred to a mental hospital and was put under 24-hour surveillance. And this was to determine whether she was well enough to stand trial. Her psychological evaluation determined that she had early signs of schizophrenia, and the judge did determine that she was well enough to stand trial, but interestingly enough, her dad was actually diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was 14. Morgan was eventually moved to a state mental hospital after about 1.5 years after the attack on Payton, and this was to help her with her schizophrenia. September 2016, Morgan actually took a plea deal and agreed to serve her time in a state mental hospital rather than going to prison. She was given a 40-year sentence, which was the maximum sentence they could possibly be given. Just a few weeks earlier, Anissa also took a plea deal, and she faced 3 years in a state mental hospital. She also submitted a letter to everyone expressing just how sorry she was about the whole ordeal. After 3.5 years, she was released because it was deemed she was no longer a threat. So Payton is alive and well. I believe it's in 2019 she gave her side of the story to ABC News, which I will link the video down below for anyone to go watch that's interested. But she did actually decide to pursue a career in medicine. I'm assuming because of how she was helped when she went through something so awful. But she is alive and thriving, so that's great. Yeah, so that was way quicker than I thought it would be. I think this story, if anything, it really highlights that we really need to be watching what kids are looking at online. It's so concerning. Did no one look at their internet history? Did no one overhear them talking about things like this? It's when you're a child, you're so impressionable, and things like that, it's really scary. It's quite hard to find the words just for how scary this really is. Protecting and monitoring what children are looking at online is so important, not just for general safety, but for mental health as well. It's something that really needs to be looked at. I am very grateful that I'm probably one of the last of the generations that did not really have technology in their childhood. I had kind of a normal bit, and then as I got older, technology came about. because I was a child when Slender Man became a thing, but I had my things monitored. My parents would look at what I'd look at, and I don't know. It's really difficult. If you have kids or if you're planning on having kids, please check their stuff. I actually saw a video on TikTok earlier of this girl, and she was playing Minecraft, and it was connected to like her TV, and I think she was 8, and this random old bloke was talking to her, and she said she'd been talking to him for ages, and that's just not right. It's just not right. I normally love Halloween. I'm starting to make myself hate it. Okay, my positive thought doesn't really kick in until 5 days time. 6 days, 5 days, I don't know, whenever the 4th is. So I am 1,000,000% going to fight everyone to get the Made by Mitchell advent calendar. It's not an option that I don't have it. So that's my positive thought of the day, because I'm so excited, but I just don't know how I'm going to contain my excitement and not open it all in one go. So we need to practice restraint. Right, let's turn this off and figure out what the hell I'm doing. Oh yeah, did I finish? I don't know if I finished. Did I finish? So that is the end of actual Halloween. I will be back tomorrow, possibly, if I can think of another outfit. I'm not promising anything right now because I'm really quite tired and I can't think of anything else to do with my face. Make good choices. Be careful online. It's a very scary place. Protect your mental health. Don't get murdered. I'll see you next week. Love you, bye. God, I have no idea what else to dress up as. Wakasha. Wakrasha. Wakashra. It's described as a happy and autistic. Morgan wakes up. No, she doesn't. Yes, well, she does, but what's going on downstairs? Every now and again, I just hear a woo. Oh, my tattoo is so itchy. It's in that really horrible, like, scabby phase. Ginger characters. Who in the face tune is that? That is not Kourtney Kardashian. I now need to go on to talk about necrophilia. This is a great day.